Welcome, everyone, to the 8th episode of the Create Your Joy podcast with myself, Shruti Goel, self-love and empowerment coach, and my colleague and dear friend, Ivania Liang, mindset coach. And today we're very excited to bring another song by Fearless Soul, which is called I Am My Own Hero, My Own Hero. Is the name of the song. And I want to turn it over to Ivania because I'm so excited to hear how she picked this song and help us dive right into the lyrics.
Yeah, thank you, beautiful Shruti. Thank you so much, everyone. Community. I like to call all of you community because you're part of my community. And I wanted to share, this beautiful song with you, with everyone, because it is a very inspiring song, and it's something that we always have to remind ourselves. And this song does it really perfectly because it's like a kinder reminder of everything that we need to know about ourselves. And like you said, yes, it's my own hero. And I really love that because that title is giving us the power to say, I am my own hero. And that's why I chose it, because I want every single one of us to remember that we are our own hero. Sometimes we like to put people or characters in a pedestal, but it's not them, because the actual person that is doing the work and the inner work, it's us, it's you. So that's why you are your own hero. So let's go ahead and look at the lyrics, and let's see how we're able to see this in very different perspectives. So it starts with, I am perfectly capable of creating a life I love. I am learning to trust myself and make peace with what I can't control. I always have a say in who I am today. And just, this couple of sentences, it's, to me, is such an awakening within, because it starts with the I am. It does not talking about anybody else. When it says I am, and who are we, right? That's one of the questions that most of the time we ask ourselves. And like I always like to say, we are the light, we are the energy. That's who we truly are at the end and inside of us. And of course, we have this vessel as a body. We have this mind, that's where we have to start, like the healthy communication, to align ourselves and live accordingly to our values and our beliefs. So when it says, I am perfectly capable, it's like it's a conversation, having it with the higher self. Like I love talking about the higher self, with its the ultimate power. It's the wisdom that in the voice that we're able to hear, and that is there. And it's talking to this physical body, to this mind, to the voices that we hear all the time. It's more like, okay, I want you to remember, I am perfectly capable of creating a life I love. And that's one of the things that I love. I love using that word, creating, because we are creators. We are creating our life. I like to call it lifestyle. The minute you start feeling uncomfortable, the minute that you don't feel enough, or the minute that you feel this is not what I deserve, the minute you start saying, oh, I deserve more, I am enough. And there is a shift at that moment. So this is like a mantra, a reminder that I am, of course, it says capable of creating a life I love. And that's the power we all have. And sometimes we forget, we forget that we have a voice, we have a choice. And this is like something kindly reminder. And it says, I am learning to trust myself. It doesn't say I learned to trust myself. It's not going that direction, because learning is along the way and forever. And that's why I love it. I am learning to trust myself and make peace with what I can't control. And when he says that to me, is making peace with the outer world, meaning like not with inside, because she already kind of have the peace within herself, but is trying to make peace with pieces or the world that or situations or problems that it's out of her hands. And she said, it's okay to let go because there's nothing I can do. Because what I can do is I'm capable of creating whatever she's capable of creating, or we are capable of creating, we will do it. We will work on it. It says, I always have a say in who I am today. And this is almost a beautiful sentence because it's not talking about the past. It's not talking about the future. It's talking about today. Because since we're evolving all the time, our minds are changing and our awareness are getting deeper. So we can't say, this is it. Oh, my past or my future. No, like today, like we're focusing in this moment, in this present, in the now.
Yeah.
But that's what I think that this song is so powerful. What do you think, Shruti?
Oh my God. First of all, I loved that you chose this song, Ivania. Whenever our audience look back at our 8 episodes thus far, if you haven't already done so, I have made myself a personal playlist of each of these songs because I find that each one adds a different note, a different kind of power or empowerment or reminder for myself. And so where our last episode that talked about Katy Perry's song Roar was just this raw fire, the fiery side of, particularly the female energy, but also, for anyone, it can be incredibly inspiring, but in a very fiery capacity. I find that this one is talking about that quiet power. It's inspiring without the fire is how I kind of think about it. And yet it shakes you to the core, with the reminders that it has for you. And I just loved the way you described the first few lines here. And in the next few lines, I'm actually going to discuss what will become the chorus in this song. And something I've noticed about each of these songs that we have chosen is that their choruses are almost even more powerful and more detailed, in fact, than some of the other verses in the song, because they're meant to be repeated. And it's like a powerhouse set of lines that you're going to repeat to yourself. And again, like I said, this one feels like a quiet storm. So just let it, find a home in your heart. And let it do its magic in terms of continuing to, inspire your own introspection. That's something I really like about this particular song, is that it allows you some space to get to know yourself. And so here we are, and it says, I can always change who I'm becoming. And oh my gosh, what an amazing resilience is in that statement. I can always change who I'm becoming. Many of us feel stuck, particularly in what we consider the shadow parts of ourselves. Or, something that, let's say, someone has pointed out to us, someone close to us, and we just feel so frustrated. How come we have this what we perceive as a flaw? And yet we know that we can always change who we're becoming, because that is the main thing that is under our control. We can't control other people's reactions to what we say. We can't control what's going on in the larger world, but we can always control how we choose to respond to a situation, like you were alluding to earlier. This is my life. I am my own hero. Nobody but me can decide where I will go. And I think these lines are so powerful. This is my life. I am my own hero. To remind yourself that ultimately in your life, you are the only one who can redeem yourself. If you feel like you're stuck in a bad situation, it's up to you to figure out a way to step away from that situation or to find a new situation to embrace. and nobody but me can decide. And I think this is really helpful as a reminder, because so many of us feel beholden to some authority figure in our life. So when we're little, it's usually our parents, or maybe perhaps a religious leader or someone at school that we think has power over us. And yet, I think with this reminder, we can let ourselves know that ultimately nobody but you gets to decide. Even if you are in a committed relationship, you are still an individual first and foremost. And I just love the power in that line. This is my time, no matter what life throws.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh, what a powerful reminder of the fact that if you are in the present moment, your external circumstances don't matter. Your internal thermostat can be set to joy. And when that's the case, no matter how bad things are on the outside, you will still be able to access your own joy, and not feel so easily buffeted by what's going on the outside. And that doesn't mean that you're not affected by what's going on the outside, but you won't let it stop you from doing what you have to do. You may need to rest, you may need a nap, you may need a day off, but you're going to come back. You're not going to give up. I think that's the distinction I want to make.
Yes.
And finally, I always have the power to change my state of mind. Gosh, this is like taken for a textbook on mindset coaching.
Yes, yes, love.
And where we get so caught up and think that how we're feeling in this moment is going to be how we always feel. And yet we know our states of mind are like clouds in the sky of our being, that one state of mind never quite stays. The clouds will always get blown away.
Yes.
And you'll see the sunshine again. You'll see the sunshine of the clarity and light within you. And finally, it goes back to, this is my life, and I decide. So that's the chorus, and it will repeat again later. I wanted to pause here and check in, Ivania, if you had any other thoughts about the chorus right now.
Oh my God, yes. Thank you for stopping. There's so much here like this, like you were saying, like this is such a beautiful, what did you call it? Silence power?
Yeah, like a quiet power.
Like a quiet power within you that it's in there. And it's as powerful as, the song Katy Perry that we did last time. So you guys check that one out because it's actually really good as well. But, it's talk about the states of mind. So it's like, depends what state are you on. And I want to go back into what it says, I am my own hero. It says it again, I am my own. And what I wanted to say is, like, when I say it's your own hero, is that nobody's going to come and rescue you.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, but if you shift the mindset, if you shift the way you see things, if you shift the way you look at yourself, then you're able to see that people, that they will help you, to grow. But ultimately, what it means, like, you taking the steps, you have to take the steps in order to move forward. That's why you become your own hero, not the other person or other people.
Yeah.
And also, I said, nobody but me can decide where I will go. I really like that because, yes, there's a lot of people that will give you tips, that will give you advice, that will give you this, especially friends and family. But where it says, this says, I will go. It says, but me can decide where I will go. That sentence means that nobody knows what's good for you. Nobody knows what path you should take, because we're not the experts in your life, especially because we can't get into your brain, into your feelings inside with you. So that's why the only person that knows, it's you. You are the expert. And that comes along with our coaching, Shruti, right?
Yes.
That we are holding the space for the client, and that client is the expert in their lives, not us.
Exactly.
So that's so beautiful, well said. He said, me, I can decide. where I will go. And that's such a beautiful thing to say. And it says, I always had the power to change my state of mind. And now that she has this awareness, and now becomes like an awareness that she has the power to change the state of her mind, because not every day will feel the same.
Yeah.
Right? Every day is different, but then we know that we had the power to change it. We know that this is going to pass, that we won't stay here, that we know that if we do the work, if we pause, reflect, we can do the work and do the action, we will change the state of mind. So I love how it started, with a level of awareness, but then it goes deeper into that level of awareness. So it's beautiful.
Yeah. I'm just drinking in your words here. And when we talk about the chorus again, I'll add one other piece. But
Yes.
right now, I want to go to the second verse because,
Yes.
again, this song, just like you said, keeps getting deeper. Owning all of my past mistakes, moving forward with more confidence. And I just have to say, owning all of my past mistakes. I mean, even as I say this, there's both a little bubble of fear that comes up, but then also this sense of, you know, feeling my spine lengthen, feeling the confidence increasing, because when you own your past mistakes, then nobody can hold them over your head anymore. Because if you already own your responsibility for them, someone can't shame you with that information, because you'll just look at them and you'll say, yes, I know I made that mistake. And here are the lessons I've learned from it, and moving forward with more confidence. And so, yes, it's a very natural consequence, especially if you have owned the past mistakes and figured out the lessons that you have learned. Then you're not starting the next project or the next thing that you're going to do with nothing. You're starting the next project from crystallized intelligence, right? Crystallized wisdom. And that's going to be experience that you keep accumulating. And I think it's one of the most important reasons why it's important for all of us to embrace doing new things in our life, especially if we're really bad at them. Because if we're really bad at them in the beginning, the lessons will be deeper. And we can take those lessons and we'll have more confidence because we've figured out all of the different ways that it doesn't work.
Yes.
So there's more wisdom in that to share. And finally, I don't know what the future holds, but I choose to count my blessings every day. I mean, I just have a powerful surge in my heart right now as I'm reading this, because it's such a secret, but it's true, that if we go ahead and focus on gratitude, if we adopt this attitude of gratitude, then we don't have to wait for the future to unfold. We can find joy in the present moment, exactly where we are. And as we continue to access that joy, it helps us magnetize the future that we want to us. I mean, look at, in many ways, this is what has helped us to be sitting here creating our 8th episode together. Had we stopped making the podcast at the point where we ran into our initial snags, and if we kept waiting for the future to be different, we would never have been able to move forward. And yet we looked at what was our attitude of gratitude. What did we have to go on? And we knew we had a unique idea. We knew we had a way of discussing these songs and bringing value about coaching principles and about wisdom to share with others. And here we are. So I just want to say that this line really hits deeply for me. And then again, it goes back to the chorus, which says, I always have a say in who I am today, and I can always change who I'm becoming. This is my life. I am my own hero. And I wanted to pause here because now when it says I am my own hero, going back to what you were saying, one of our tenets in coaching is that we hold that the client is whole unto themselves and able to solve their own problems. And in my coaching philosophy, in my coaching approach, I use a Sanskrit phrase called Sampurnaham, which means I am complete. And it's not a direct translation, but it's implied that I'm complete in every moment. And that is the baseline from which I begin my coaching approach with my clients. And that is the realization that I bring each of my clients back to, because that's what gets lost in the hustle and bustle of our lives, and feeling as though we have to, seek external validation of our choices or seek someone else's approval on what we're trying to do. And yet, you are the only one that is a PhD in your own life. And that's such a sacred part of the coaching work that we do. And I think I can speak for both of us here that it is probably one of the most beautiful aspects of coaching someone that we like. And what has drawn me to this work in the first place is nothing gives me more joy than helping someone see their own uniqueness, their own gifts.
Beautiful. I love it. Yes, I 100% agree with you. And, I just love how you said that, the client, is complete every time.
Yeah.
And then sometimes they can't see it. That's why as coaches, that's why we become coaches, so we can ask powerful questions and so they can, go inside and look for the answer within themselves. And that's they started to see and started to learn what are the skills they need to, learn, or what are the skills that they need to practice more, or what, it's just that principle, like you said, and it's beautiful. I want to circle back and when you say owning all of my past mistakes. And I think when you say like the right attitude, because we can also have the bad attitude, say, okay, I did this, I did this, blah, 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 who cares? That's not the right attitude. I think what the attitude that we're talking about here is like looking at it, reflect on it, and everything that you have done, and there were mistakes, and accept them and release them, because the mistakes that you made, you did it because that's what you had, that you had that information, and that's the only information you had at that time. If you would have a different information, if you would have learned other stuff, that you would make a different decision. But this is what we work on. So the minute you start owning your mistakes, not blaming it into people, then you allowing yourself to give yourself grace.
Yeah.
That it's okay. And not only that, is asking, how can I do better? You go into that mode of, oh, how can I do better? What are the practice I need to practice on? And that will create a space for you to grow, because you're not staying there. It's like you're moving forward. And I like when it mentions more confidence, moving forward with more confidence. I really love confidence because, everyone has confidence at a certain level and a certain degree. We all have confidence.
Yeah.
We all have the confidence. However, we need to practice. That practice brings you that confidence even more solid. Nothing else, because in actually confidence to me is not a destination. It gets deep when as you work, as you practice, then you start the hang of it, and then you feel more comfortable, and that's more confidence. But when you want to start a different job or a different thing than what you used to do, then you do have the confidence to switch and practice. That's the confidence of the base. But then the more you do the practice, then it will get bigger and bigger. So yes, that's what I wanted to say in that part, because it's just so beautiful to remind her. Oh, one thing before I forget that I really want to say also with, I choose to count my blessing every day. And I'm thinking that once you start, having gratitude every single day, one of the blessings that I do every single day is give thanks because I am alive, because I woke up. I'm already blessed because I already woke up. Because if I already woke up, then I have an opportunity to change. to practice, to give love, to give my service. That is already a win. And if you had this mindset, then you start seeing the world with a different lens. So yes, gratitude, the must.
Beautifully articulated, Ivania, especially the idea that if you're beginning your day with that kind of attitude, you can uplift and change the automatic setting with which many of us wake up. And for many of us, our automatic setting is our inner critic's voice. So we wake up in the morning either feeling groggy or down or, unhappy about something that's unresolved from the night before. So very well said.
Thank you. Okay, so the next verse, it says, I will never win by holding into pain. Happiness begins within. Day by day, I will keep building my future. Nothing can get in my way. This is my life. I am my own hero. And it repeats the course.
Yeah.
Nobody but me can decide where I will go. This is my time. No matter what life throws, I'll always have the power to change my state of mind. This is my life. I am my own hero. Nobody but me can decide where I will go. And he repeats it, and repeats it. And, going back to the first sentence where it says, I will never win by holding into pain. What a powerful statement. Because she knows, like, if we hold pain and remembering that pain, we actually wiring ourselves even more, because we just remember the pain and remember the pain, and we cannot move forward. We cannot forgive ourselves, and we cannot forgive. So we if we just holding it, it's hurting ourselves. So we have to let that go. And one of the things on self-love, when you were saying, is that recognizing, like, that you have to give grace to yourself and give yourself a chance to change. Give yourself a chance to evolve. We're not bad. We're just the word I'm looking for is conditioned. We are very conditioned in this world by everything. But now when you start to be, like I said, you get to a point when you had enough and you have to change something. And this is the time when you realize that the pain, you have to release that pain. And of course, when we have to do that, we have to do the work, and we have to reach out. It could be a psychologist, it could be, a therapist, or maybe, or like a coach, like just to talk and say, how can I move forward? Because I want to get from A to B. But it's always reaching out so you'll be able to move forward. It says, happiness begins within me. I love that because it's the responsibility, it's on you. I really love that because we're not throwing the responsibility into others. They say, oh, you have to make me happy. Or that person makes me happy, but now he's breaking up with me. I'm not happy anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's the happiness within you. Or like, or also that they have, things that, if I don't have the job, I'm not happy. Or if I don't have these things, we put happiness into things and into people.
Right.
But we have to bring it back to us, because we had the power to create the happiness, to create the joy, to create your life. What brings you joy? What brings you happiness? So it's in our hands. So I really love that. It says, day by day, I will keep building my future. I love that because it's not saying, oh, I'm going to do this. Like, it's not a list.
Yeah.
It's like step by step, day by day. How do I feel today? What can I do? One little thing that will bring me happiness or will bring me joy.
Yeah.
And day by day, then start connected. Start connecting it day by day. And then you will see that it will come easier to create your own joy. And then it says, nothing can get in my way. I love that because she's confident now that everything that comes on her way, she will be able to face it with the right attitude. And I really love that because she's removing herself or her lower self. That's always that, like you call it that inner credit. She's removing it to the side and said, no, nothing stands in my way. And she's facing it. She's facing everything that she needs to face and to work on it. And yes, I really, really love this part. What do you think, Shruti?
Yeah, I think you dissected it beautifully, Ivania. And as you were reading a couple of these lines, especially the one that struck me was happiness begins within. And I was going to say that when we are able to realize this, it's a form of calling our power back. Because in some sense, we give our power away to others, over our mood or our, someone's ability to influence or cause us frustration. And so when you can say that your happiness resides within, that's you calling your power back to you and saying, yes, people can have their reactions. I will witness their reactions, but I may or may not participate in them. And that doesn't mean that you don't ever express if someone has, violated a boundary of yours. You can still express anger. If someone has, done something to you that you find disrespectful, you can assertively tell them how you want to be treated. And yet, you don't take things as personally, I find, when you allow your happiness to reside within yourself. And in a way, it also makes you feel much more fearless about facing the world because you are not really at the mercy of how someone else is treating you. You have a strong sense of how and what it is that you're trying to do in your own life. Your inner life is so rich that yes, you're witnessing what's going on in the outside world, but you're not so concerned with it that you lose yourself in the process. And I think that's very important because especially like with the example that you were giving, when we have an intimate relationship that breaks apart, there's such a sense of loss for one or both of those partners because their happiness was so closely intertwined with one another. And yet, if there could be a reminder to say, hey, sure, we will have moments where we will share our joy, and yet we take responsibility for creating our own happiness, then it should be no problem at all if there is a moment of conscious uncoupling that has to occur. And actually in that case, that couple can, move on with a lot of happy memories and, a heart that's even more expanded and ready for a new partnership. And we have explored a couple of songs as well, actually, in the past, where that has exactly been the case, where someone has done their inner work and has realized how to create that happiness deep within. So this line really deeply resonated with me. And the other thing that I wanted to say was the last line of this verse that says, nothing can get in my way.
Yeah.
It seems like such a bold claim to make, because how often, even those of us that are coaches and doing this work all the time, do feel like we are in our own way. And when someone is able to say that nothing can get in my way, what that's really saying is that I'm going to meet whatever is in the way and I'll make friends with it. So it's no longer in my way. It's a friend, and that includes integrating those parts of ourselves that we often perceive as obstacles, whether it is our inner critic or a hurt inner child part of us or some other shadow aspect of ourselves that we'd wish wasn't there. And so when we're able to make friends with that, when we integrate those parts of ourselves, then truly nothing can get in the way of the life that you're trying to build.
Yeah, no, beautiful what said. Beautiful you said it. And also I wanted to mention that you're right. I think like yeah, it might sound like it's easy. It might sound like the lyrics, it's easy, but I think everything starts with the practice. And do not get overwhelmed, like, oh, I'm not there yet. How am I gonna do this? How if I break, like I feel like I'm gonna die. Because sometimes that's what we feel when we have those breakups. But I think also just bringing this to the attention to start the conversation and say, no, the power lies within you. The love, is within you. It's like it's like watering a seed that we already have within inside because we have everything already. So it's like a reminder. It's not like you're not gonna feel those pain. It's not gonna feel like, of course, when you lose someone, either because of breakup or when you lose it because of somebody died or maybe you didn't, or maybe you break up with your best friend, and there's types of different loss that we go through. That doesn't mean you're not gonna feel that pain. That means, like it says, you're not holding into that pain for too long.
Exactly.
And it's always good to start a practice so you can start day by day, to start moving forward, to start looking within, to start reflecting. Not that it's going to go away. No, it's not going to go away right away, but it will go faster if you make a decision and you choose yourself and say, okay, I'm going to work within myself.
Beautifully said, Ivania. And I was just going to add something that recently what I've been working on with people that I am coaching is a great way to start a daily practice is by just waking up in the morning and saying to yourself some of the words of praise and affection and admiration that you wish to hear from the people around you. And I recommend that you try and experiment with this in your own life. And if you need something to get you started in the morning, that's where your playlist of the songs that we have been sharing comes into play. Is that you turn on one of these songs and they act as a reminder. They give you the words because sometimes the words elude us. So I just wanted to put that in there, that we can begin. Our life is, like the song says, able to be changed at a moment's notice. And we are always in control of that change. So I highly encourage you to do this. And if you're joining us for the first time, I just want to, let you know that this podcast is all about diving into different songs that are inspiring to us, that remind us of ways to change our mindset or to anchor into the power of self-love and watch ourselves flourish. And so we will continue to choose these songs and bring these ideas before you. We request our audience to share some songs of their own. And we are overwhelmed with the positive response that you're showing to our podcast as we continue to do this. And again, please like and subscribe if you're liking our content. And we create our joy in bringing this to you every week.
Thank you so much. And like I say, always be creating, create your day, create your week, your month, your year, your life that you want to live. Always be creative. We are, all of us, creators.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye for now.